Imagineville Podcast Network.
Today on Super Familiar with the Wilsons, we talk about Mulan and alternate band names. Let's go. Welcome to Super Familiar with the Wilsons. I'm Josh.
I'm Amanda.
I want to start by talking about Mulan. Disney Studios just released the live-action version of the story of Mulan, which is based on the Ballad of Mulan, which is Chinese folklore.
Yes, like from the 5th or 6th century.
We've already gone beyond my research. I was very excited to see it when I heard that they would first release it. I wasn't disappointed when I heard that it was going to stick a little bit more, or what they said, stick a little bit more to the source material.
That was harder for me because I am a giant fan of the original animated film. And so knowing that some of my favorite characters from the first were not going to be in this was a little bit hard for me. For instance, I really liked the live action Beauty and the Beast, but it pretty much was shot for shot. And I loved the animated film. And so that was interesting to me to watch it unfold in live action. But I will say I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that this is not a spoiler-free podcast because that takes way too much thought on my part.
So just give your disclaimer now.
Spoilers ahead, y'all. Be careful. Firstly, I want to say that the cinematography and the film work was beautiful.
It was. And I will tell you that I was very tired, wasn't sure that I was going to make it all the way through. I was excited that it was Mulan, but really thought I was going to fall asleep at some point in time. And I didn't. I stayed awake the entire time. And it was beautifully shot. I love the songs from the original, but I didn't miss the songs being sung because they were a part of the score. So it still gave you that feeling of those songs that you loved from the first. What did you notice, or what did you like?
I love the message of a woman embracing who she is, and in doing so, that made her stronger. That was the thrust of the film. That was the point of the film. Mm-hmm. If you're not familiar with the film, you've probably already fast-forwarded at this point. But the idea is that Mulan belongs to a family. The family is mother, father, and 2 daughters. The Emperor of China makes the decree that each household, each family needs to contribute 1 male to the war effort. And the father, being a veteran, if you will, volunteers. But Mulan, seeing that her father is very weak and he can't hardly stand up without a prop, goes in his stead, disguising herself as a man, or a young boy, really. And then throughout the movie, it's presented to her that the path of honor isn't in lying in this way. And even one of the enemies, the witch, there's a witch on the other side who is helping the main enemy conquer the land. She makes the note that your deceit weakens you, it poisons your chi. And so everything about the movie is encouraging her to embrace who she is as a woman, even though the society at that time would look down on, well, I guess it was illegal for a woman to be a warrior, for a woman to have strong chi, which is kind of like the Force in this case. That was very interesting and successfully communicated, I think.
Well, and it wasn't just that it was illegal for a woman to have chi. It's if a woman presented with this strong chi, which chi is the force of everything in the universe, that if she presented with this...
I think I just said that.
Well, you did, but I'm saying it again. That if she presented with this strong chi, that they then thought of her as a witch. So it wasn't just that it was illegal, it vilified her. Men were honored for it, women were vilified. And so there are parallels from, things that we've seen throughout history. Josh, you made the comment that it seemed more like a martial arts film. And so I looked it up, and it's more like a wuxia film, which is Chinese fiction or cinema featuring itinerant warriors of ancient China, often depicted as having capable of superhuman feats. And so then I was reading an article in which they paralleled Mulan to Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel in the beginning was told to suppress her power too. And so she is more really like a superhero in this film than a princess, just with more elite, capable physical strength than shooting lightning bolts out of her hand. It's like parkour at a supernatural level.
Well, it's so funny because Disney seems fit to borrow from several of their properties for this movie. So I was going to make the connection between Captain Marvel. And also there's a very strong Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker dynamic from Return of the Jedi. You know, I see the good in you, turn to the light side, between Mulan and this witch who's on the opposite side. And it's a really actually nuanced relationship that they have. There's a dynamic there where there's a push and there's a pull and there's a recognition by the older witch that she sees something in herself through Mulan. And I really enjoyed that, even though clearly if Disney didn't own those properties, some copyright lawyers would be getting some stuff together right about now.
I mean, it was very Return of the Jedi.
Very much so. I loved that it was a martial arts film, borrowing from kung fu movies. Ip Man is one of my favorite movie series, starring Donnie Yen, by the way. Shout out to him. And so I loved that dynamic. Disney's never done anything like that before. So that was cool. I love that. And speaking of Donnie Yen, I loved the performances by him, by the woman who plays the witch, Gong Li. Really, really well done. And then the gentleman who plays the father, Tai Ma, his performance was really great too. So a lot of the supporting characters had really great nuanced performances.
And the Emperor was Jet Li. Is that what we...
That's correct, yes. Which I didn't recognize him at all.
Interestingly enough about casting, and I didn't recognize this when we were watching it, but there is a... I don't know if she's a courtesan, a woman of the court who introduces Mulan to the Emperor. That actress is Ming-Na Wen, who voiced Mulan in the animated film.
Oh, no way. That's great. That's
and then
very cool.
It cuts to a young girl in the crowd who's looking at Mulan, and that's Ming-Na's daughter, Michaela.
Very
but
cool.
I thought that was a really nice... There were a lot of nice throwbacks to the animated film without it feeling really hokey. So sadly, Mushu is gone. Mushu, I love very much. It's your breakfast and it's happy to see ya is one of my favorite lines. But what's interesting is that Mulan's family's, it's not their Alegria. What is it? Their guardian, their guardian animal, a phoenix, but the phoenix is colored with Mushu's colors. So that's a nod to Mushu. Also in the animated film, Mulan has Cricky, and I will tell you that I had a Cricky, and you could twist his wings and he would make the little chirping sounds, and I kept him in my car, and I had him for several years after the animated film. Now, Cricky's not in the film, but there is a warrior, a young boy who goes to train too, and a very lovable character, and his name is Cricket. So it was also their way of nodding at this. Also, Li Shang is probably the only animated cartoon character I've ever felt attracted to. So I was a little bit upset that he wasn't going to be here, but I really like the decision they made. And I was reading about it, and it wasn't just that they didn't want to make it a romantic story, but that in the animated film, he's her commander. That just didn't feel appropriate, having her have a relationship with somebody in a superior or somebody in
authority.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So that was a choice they made, and I actually think the film is all the better for it.
Well, it's interesting because I was researching that, and come to find out, and maybe people knew this, I just didn't happen to know this, that Li Shang was an LGBTQ favorite. Did you know this?
I did. I've read about this, yes.
Some people in the community are looking at that as the first openly bisexual character in Disney history. And so there's a segment that's really disappointed for that reason.
That's a good point, and it would have been nice to see that come back somewhere else in the film.
Yeah, I actually kind of thought that they were going to do that between him and the other character in his crew, which the name escapes me. But there was a point where there was a relationship, they were talking to each other, and I was wondering if they were going to go in that direction, and they never did. If I were to pick a few things that I wish were better, I would have liked for the pacing to be a little different, because it just did go forward at kind of a breakneck speed.
When I'm watching a film, I kind of always feel like there's that point. So you've got the exposition, and there's the kind of point where you feel like it turns and now we're into the action. I kept waiting for the now we're into the action. We were just always in the action. It's like the crest of the roller coaster. Yeah. There was never that. It was the Hulk, and it just shot us out.
There was a slow moment in the film where Mulan finally takes a shower, her version of taking a shower.
Which is in the animated film as well.
Okay. But besides that, it just was bing, bang, boom. And so I would have liked to have for there to have been a little bit more dynamic pacing to that, and the emotional journey would have been served by slowing down a little bit.
Yes.
That was shortcut for me, and I think the film would have been better served with better pacing.
Yeah, I can see that.
At that same point, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more interplay between Mulan as the boy warrior and his crew, the little group of people that he was with. I would have enjoyed more development there too. That would have been fun. The cricket character that you were talking about, the third thing that I would have liked a little bit more of is a little bit more humor in it, because again, I am remembering the original film, and that is kind of a Disney thing to throw in humor, and a Disney thing that I enjoy. So I would have liked a little bit more of that.
And I do think there's a little bit more of that story building in the animated film. There's much more of the relationship with the father in this film. And so there's, some give and take.
Trade-off.
Yeah. The last thing that I wanted to point out, and I did not know this when we were watching the credits. So Christina Aguilera is singing a 2020 version of, or whenever they recorded it, of Reflection, which was the song that she sang in the original animated film. The graphics at the end, playing over the credits, is a recreation of the film's original video cassette cover, which I owned but did not recognize it. So there are a lot of winks and nods to the late 90s and the film. So I really enjoyed it.
Just want to touch on one last thing, and that is some of the criticism that I'm hearing that Mulan is a Mary Sue. Mulan, as presented in this movie, is a Mary Sue. So the idea behind a Mary Sue character, it's got plenty of background that you can Google. But basically, it's a female character that it's the perfect character, no flaws. They come in, they have an answer to every question. They are perfectly prepared and trained innately for every battle. And that's called a Mary Sue. Another example of that, interestingly enough, is Captain Marvel or Wonder Woman or Rey from Star Wars, where people are saying, why do you have this perfect woman character come in able to do all this thing? And it's a point of criticism. Now, interestingly enough, I don't hear that same kind of criticism for male characters.
Right.
I mean, I don't hear anyone complaining that Luke Skywalker came in and in Empire Strikes Back, he had 2 weeks at Yoda camp, and all of a sudden he was the perfect Jedi. You don't hear those criticisms. And so, I mean, blatant sexism there. Yeah. But again, Mulan comes in, and from jump in the movie as a child, you see her with this amazing chi, able to do all of these things, which to me, it's a movie. I mean, fine, this is the world that they've built. But for someone to criticize that as being a Mary Sue, I think is just blatantly sexist.
Well, the fact that there's a term for it is blatantly sexist, because there's not a term for when a man can do that. So.
I think it's Gary Stew.
All right. Well, see Mulan, and if you don't want to pay the $30, and I totally get that, it will be out on Disney Plus this December, streaming without the premium upgrade, or whatever we call that.
Alrighty, so there you go. We are a proud partner of the Imagineville Podcast Network. Go to imagineville.com, IMAGNVILLE.com, to find us and other great podcasts.
What time is it? Game time!
All right, welcome back. So today I have planned the game. That is usually Josh's job, but I've come up with one. So for my job, I write professional development for teachers. And in that, there have been a few times where I've been writing about ideas for teachers to do with children, and then have come across, I can't use that word. It is trademarked. And I think we've talked about this on a past episode, where things that wouldn't surprise you, but then things that really would surprise you, you've had to come up with a new term for. So I think the example we used when we were doing an episode was hula hoop. I was writing about using hula hoops, and I did not know that hula hoop is trademarked, and so you can't use that term. So we came up with, so I think the term I used was exercise hoop, and then Josh decided that, what was it? The
Circle of humiliation.
circle of humiliation was a better idea. So now we're going to play a game. I have a document, which I actually use for work, that are 50 common words you use every day that are actually trademark brand names. So they might be generically used by consumers, but they cannot be used by competitors, nor me when I'm writing. So I'm going to give Josh the brand name.
So the conceit here also is that I'm going to be surprised by some of these things.
Some of these I think might surprise you. They surprise me. Some are not going to surprise you. I'm going to give Josh the brand name, tell him who owns the trademark, and then ask him to come up with a generic name. Now, my source document gives the generic name for these. So we're going to compare. Is yours better, or does the world already have what they need? All right, ready?
Sure.
Band-Aid. So the trademark owner is Johnson & Johnson. What do you think is the appropriate generic name for Band-Aid?
Well, okay. So a Band-Aid, we could call it a blood strip or
A blood stopper strip.
a skin sticker.
That's a good one. I like skin sticker.
Oh, no. You know what I like? Got it.
What?
Fix-a-Flesh.
So gross. Okay. Well, the preferred generic name is adhesive bandage.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
I like Fix-a-Flesh better.
Fix-a-Flesh.
Fix-a-Flesh. Is that hyphenated?
Yes, it has to be.
Okay, love it. All right.
I've already got the graphic in my mind.
Bubble wrap.
Oh, bubble wrap. That's easy because I already have a name for bubble wrap. Therapy bubbles.
There you go.
Because you know how it's just like therapy to be just snap them to pop them. Mm-hmm. Therapy bubbles.
Love it. So the trademark owner
or air that you pay for.
right.
That's another one. Just like we pay for water, we also pay for air. Now,
Well,
if you think about that too long, your head's going to explode.
We do though, but that's a term in the South is the bought air. We
Bought
talked about
air?
that on the LaKendra episode, or we have several LaKendra episodes. The Southern episode, the bought air is the air conditioning.
Air
so.
that you pay for.
Yes. Well, the trademark owner of Bubble Wrap is Sealed Air Corporation.
Sealed air. Well, that's good. Is that what?
The generic name is inflated cushioning.
I like that.
All right.
Sounds dirty.
Chapstick.
Chapstick. Okay, so who owns that?
Wyeth Consumer Healthcare.
Chapstick. Well, think about what chapstick does. It's like lip balm is another name for it.
Lip balm is the generic name for it.
Okay, so how about mouth spackle?
Lip spackle.
Mouth spackle is what I would call it. And actually, if it's like lip gloss or if it's fancy lip balm, then you could call it sparkle spackle.
Oh, you should see his face.
Actually, that's probably already a thing. Come on. How could you not have sparkle spackle in the world?
I'm sure they do. All right, this one I did not know was a brand name. Dumpster.
Dumpster?
Dumpster is a brand name, trademark name.
Who owns it?
Dempster Brothers Incorporated. So it's the Dempster Dumpsters.
All right. Well, my alternate name for that is the U.S. Senate. Next.
All right, fiberglass.
Fiberglass. Who owns that?
Owens Corning.
I'm going to call fiberglass painful cotton.
Yeah, well, the generic name is glass wool, but yes, painful cotton is good. Frisbee.
Frisbee. Who owns that?
Whammo.
I'm going to call Frisbees identified flying objects.
Okay, well, this article recommends flying disc.
Yeah.
All right, Google.
What?
Google, like as in the verb, like Google it. You can't say that. That's a trademark unless you're talking about actually going.
I mean,
Google.
who doesn't know that that's a trademark? Though?
Right.
I mean,
I'm
come on
telling you,
now.
some of these are dumb.
So, but who owns that? The Google.
Google Incorporated. Internet
right.
search engine is their generic name.
Let's call Google self-inflicted spyware.
There you go. All right, hula hoop we've done. Jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi. Who owns that?
Trademark owner Jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi. The Jacuzzi brothers?
Yes.
Let's call that... Okay, well... Okay, so...
I know what you're going to do.
We can call it human slow cooker.
Ugh. It's so gross.
But what you were thought I was gonna say is we'll call it the sous vide vasectomy.
Oh, that's gross. Okay, Jeep. Moving on.
What were you gonna say?
I thought you were gonna make a gas joke with the bubbles. All right.
All right. Who owns Jeep?
Jeep. Oh, Chrysler.
Flippy box on wheels.
Wait until I swallow my rosé. Or compact sport utility vehicle.
Boring.
I can't say that. Sport utility vehicle. Okay. Jet ski.
Let's call a jet ski a seaweed skater.
What if you have a lake?
Well, there's lake weed. What do you want?
Weed.
Get out of here.
It's a stand-up personal
I'm
watercraft.
sorry, you can't criticize my silly
I can't.
names.
You're right. That's a stand-up personal watercraft. All right, Lazy Boy.
Oh, who owns that?
Lazy Boy Incorporated.
Let's call that a body accordion.
I have been stuck in one, so I identify with that. So generic name is a reclining chair / sofa.
Okay.
Popsicle.
Popstickle
is not trademarked, so you can use popsicle.
Popsicle. Who owns that?
Good humor - Briars.
Let's call popsicles ice fingers. Juicy ice fingers.
Juicy ice fingers. So the generic name is Ice Pop, or if you're in the UK, it's an ice lolly.
Oh, I like ice lolly, but I like juicy ice fingers.
Juicy ice fingers better. Post-it notes, or just Post-its, I guess.
All right, who owns that?
3M.
3M? Mm-hmm. Let's call that memory sticky.
Okay. Well, if you add the Y, Sony can't get mad.
That's right.
Realtor.
Realtor is a trademark term?
It is, and I knew it looking at the symbol for it because I realized there's an R after it.
Oh, interesting. I guess I never thought of it. I thought that was just like small realtor.
Just a little tiny realtor.
That's right.
But when we talk about our realtor, I don't think about that being a trademark term. It is trademarked by the National Association of Realtors.
Well, I call a realtor a house hustler.
House hustler. We got a good house hustler.
We do.
Generic name is a real estate agent.
Oh, okay. Boring.
Rollerblade.
Micro death wheels.
Thank you, Nordica.
That's right.
Or inline skates. Scotch tape.
Scotch tape. Now, who owns that?
3M.
I call Scotch tape semi-pro tape because it never works quite the way you'd want or expect.
So it's not magic tape. It's just some
Absolutely not.
Clear adhesive tape is what it's called in the U.S., but it doesn't tell us what it's called in other countries. It just, all right.
Well, it's called in other countries minimally effective.
There you go. Super glue.
Super glue.
Trademarked by the Super Glue Corporation.
I call super glue single-use eye drops.
The generic name, I can't even pronounce, so we're not going to. Taser.
Taser. I thought taser stood for something like laser.
Yeah. It's TASER, all capital letters. So it's Taser International Incorporated.
Well, I believe that a taser is called a portable aggressive wall socket.
You have had interaction with aggressive wall sockets. So
with one, but that was enough.
So the generic name is electric shock weapon or stun gun.
Boring.
Vaseline.
Next.
Velcro.
I actually have a name for Velcro. I call them scritch strips.
Scritch strips?
Yeah, scritch strips because
that's
that's the
like?
names.
Yep.
That's the sound that it makes.
Yep.
Scritch strips.
So here's one of the ones that I write about for work and have to use the generic. The generic name is hook and loop fastener.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Xerox.
Actually, I have one for Xerox.
Yes.
Electric plagiarizer.
Yes, Lord, yes. And finally,
who owns Xerox?
Xerox.
Oh, okay.
And the generic name is photocopy, not photocopier. Well, it's a photocopy. It's Xerox it. Okay. Yeah. The last one is Ziploc, owned by SC Johnson & Son. I just want to sound like a commercial.
Giant individual bubble wrap.
Well, there you go. All right. And the generic name is zipper storage bag. Well, that was a lot of common words that are used every day. Here are a few former trademarks that are now generic terms due to common use. Did you know that's a thing?
No, I didn't.
So these items have lost legal protection by becoming the common name of the relevant product or service as determined in court. Aspirin. Cellophane.
Cellophane?
Uh-huh.
You mean like saran wrap?
Well, what I mean is thin, transparent sheets made of regenerated cellulose. That's what I mean.
I have a name for that, actually.
What?
Flexiglass.
That's good. Dry ice.
Dry ice. That was trademarked?
That was trademarked. Escalator.
Escalator is trademarked?
It was by the Otis Elevator Company.
I got a name for an escalator.
What?
It's a bumpy ramp.
Or moving staircase.
Right.
Kerosene.
Kerosene is trademarked. Yes. Firewater. Easy. Next.
It used to be by Abraham Gessner. Laundromat.
Laundromat. It's funny that you should mention laundromat because me and a friend of mine were playing this game where we would talk about two different things or products or services that businesses could offer, and what if they were offered in the same building, and then what would they be called? And he came up with a combination batting cage laundromat called the laundry matting cage, which I thought was brilliant. Different game, but there you go.
All right. Well, coin laundry shop is what we're going to call it.
Got it.
Thermos.
Did you ever see the movie The Jerk?
No.
Okay.
Steve Martin?
Yes, he sings to his thermos.
Well, it's a vacuum flask.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I like the flask part of it.
Trampoline.
Death Spring.
Death sphere. Yo-yo and zipper.
Yeah, I think I knew yo-yo. Well, see, yo-yo sounds like yeah.
Yeah, it's it doesn't tell me what I can call it though. So what should we call it?
A yo-yo is definitely a boomerang on a string.
There you go. Well, that was, what do we call
No, I've
these
got more.
things?
I called up some more.
Oh, you called up some more?
Well, yeah, there's like other ones that are on this list that I have.
Okay.
Like apparently onesie. A onesie. What's a onesie? Right? That's like a one piece.
Like baby thing that snaps underneath. That's a onesie.
Right, but don't like people also wear onesies as well?
Well, we kind of call those leotards.
Oh, okay. Well, I refer to that as sack wear. So to me, a onesie is a body bag. Oh, God. And then crock pot.
Yes, I did know that was trademarked.
So what's another name for crock pot?
Well, wouldn't
It's a pressure cooker,
that would
right?
be a food jacuzzi.
Did you know that Seeing Eye Dog was trademarked
I did
initially?
not know that, but that's kind of cool.
What would what would another name for Seeing Eye Dog be?
You look like you have something you want
Well, I
to
just
say.
thought of something, but what?
Well, I think it would be something that gives somebody their life back, but yes.
A poodle on a noodle? A spaniel with a handle?
What's wrong with you?
A canine crash avoidance system?
Yes, that. I like that. That one we'll stick with.
All right. Breathalyzer.
Oh, I did not know that. That's the, oh, damn.
What?
You don't want to take the breathalyzer test because you're going to get in trouble.
Yes. I was actually going to come up with something like this, but apparently it used to be called the drunkometer.
Did it really?
And I don't think I can beat drunkometer.
No, drunkometer's better.
Zamboni.
Zamboni. Man, I love the word Zamboni.
Well, do you like giant ice iron?
Is that yours?
It's mine. I can't believe that you didn't say Kleenex.
It wasn't on my list.
That's not a good list then, because Kleenex is a well-known thing.
Yeah. Tissue.
Portable snot pocket.
Gross.
I like that one.
So gross.
Sharpie. Did you mention Sharpie?
Wasn't on my list.
That's another thing.
Yes.
What could you call Sharpie?
Something I like to smell.
Oh.
I like to sniff Sharpies, dude.
Oh, I guess you do. How about permanent eyebrow pencil?
That's an unfortunate look.
Tupperware.
The thing that we always lose the lids to and then wind up throwing out.
Would it be fair to call it a lost the Tupperware?
Yes. Good one.
Let's see. You said Velcro. Weed eater. Did you know weed eater is trademarked?
I did not.
Yes.
What would you call it?
A grass saw. Whiteout.
I did know that. Yes.
And what was the liquid paper was the other one, right? Like competing. Yeah. What would you call whiteout?
Well, we had whiteout tape when I was teaching first grade.
Oh, yes.
And we used to call it the uh-oh tape.
Uh-oh tape.
So the kids would come say, I need uh-oh tape.
I call it a mistake defense system.
There you go.
X-Acto knife. That sounds like a brand name. X-Acto knife.
Mm-hmm. That's something I shouldn't wield. Neither should you. You have cut yourself with those things.
Oh, my gosh. What would you call it?
That's something Amanda shouldn't wield.
All right. How about a teeny weeny guillotine? Because they have the blades that are angled, but then they have the straight blade. So
my gosh! And you just said guillotine instead of guillotine.
Novocaine.
Is it? Oh, that's not NOS.
No, Novocaine is this.
That's the.
Yes.
That's what I call it.
Nummy num juice.
Oh. That stuff tastes.
Okay, plexiglass. That's easy. I already had a word for plexiglass.
What was it? No shattered glass?
Clear cement. Formica. That's like this.
It's like the kitchen counters that we currently
countertops?
own. Yes. Don't know. What would you call it?
I got nothing.
Okay, cut that.
Slip and slide.
Oh, God. The death chute.
The body skating ramp.
We used to.
Oh, I didn't know this one. Go ahead.
So when I was little, we used to put our slip and slide down the ditch. We had a pretty big ditch in the front yard, and then we'd soap it up with like dish soap, and then throw the dog down the slip and slide.
Oh no!
No, he loved it.
You lie?
No, he did. He would get down the slip and slide, shake off, and come run around and go back to the start to do it again.
Did you know that Windbreaker was?
I didn't know it was a brand.
Windbreaker.
All right, so
A useless jacket. Windbreakers are the biggest waste of fabric. Because they don't do anything for you. You expect that they would. They look like raincoats, right? You expect that they would do something for you. So useless jacket.
They break the wind.
No, they. that's a good name for it. How about raincoat school dropout?
I like it.
Stetson. Well, everyone knows that Stetson's a type of cowboy hat.
No. I love it when your eye crinkles up a little bit.
It's a ranch topping. A GED. Did you know a GED is?
I did not know a GED was trademarked.
That it's trademarked. It's like comes from a company that gives the
GED
general equivalency something diploma. Or a microwave diploma. We'll call it that.
There you go.
Legos. Everyone knows that that's a brand name. Those are torture bricks.
Except that you're not supposed to say Legos. The plural of Lego is Lego.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Jell-O, we mentioned that before, like before we recorded, we mentioned that as an example. So I call Jell-O wiggle dice. And that's all I have. Because some of these you mentioned, like escalator or whatever. But we don't have one for Formica. Sadly, Formica is often taken for granted.
You're such a goofball. You're so proud of yourself. Sometimes I wish we were on YouTube so people could see this. Oh, wait, we are on YouTube. You guys should go check out that channel. Well, thanks for playing this game with me. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you know of any trademark names that might surprise us, please drop that on our socials at Wilsons_do for Twitter. Or if you can think of better names than Josh did for some of the ones we talked about, hit us up with those too.
The intro and outro music that you are listening to right now is Una Mañana Dorada by Silva de Alegria. The interstitial music, as always, is by Andrew Wilson. We are part of a partnership of podcasts based in Gainesville, Florida called Imagineville. Check out our partners. Check out our friends. This is some really, really quality podcasts that we have on our network, and that's Imagineville, spelled IMAGNVILLE.com.
Take care of each other this week. Treat people with kindness. See you later.
Bye. I don't hear anyone complaining that Luke Skywalker came in and in Empire Strikes Back, he had 2 weeks at Yoda camp and all of a sudden he was the perfect Jedi.